Welcome back to Three Guys, One Painting, where three sophisticated gentlemen study one type of painting in particular, and that is Judith and the Slaying of Holofernes. The story is from the Bible, the Old Testament, in the book of Judith. The story goes, Judith's hometown is being attacked and taken over by an Assyrian general named Holofernes. So one night, her and a servant, that is Judith, sneak into Holofernes' tent while he's drunk, and slowly but surely behead him. Many different artists depict the scene in many different ways. Some show Judith in the act of beheading, others show Judith even holding the head in her hand or on top of a silver platter or table. This painting by Sandro Botticelli from the early Renaissance depicts Holofernes' soldiers upon finding his headless corpse. If you notice, the soldiers' armor, clothing, and weaponry are taken directly from the Renaissance, and as you would know, these type of clothing would not be available during biblical times in which this story takes place. The inclusion of Renaissance-style clothing in a biblical story is an aspect of early Renaissance artwork. Another aspect is the human body. If you look closely, you'll see that Holofernes' body is much younger than he's usually portrayed. This newfound admiration of the human body was current in Renaissance artwork. Also, Botticelli, being a humanist, depicts this scene in sort of a gruesome way, showing humankind's achievement of victory or overthrow of tyranny, with Holofernes' body being so lifeless and also headless.
This piece, which is called Judith with the Head of Holofernes, painted by Lucas Cranach the Elder in 1530, displays many prominent attributes of Renaissance art. For example, we'll take her clothes as well as her sword. They are very typically modern Renaissance and ornate, but at the same time, concealing. Now, also is the use of typical Renaissance chiaroscuro, which is the contrast between light and dark. This is characterized by the light on her left and the dark on her right. Incidentally, on her left, if one looks out the window, they will see a very modern-looking kind of city upon a cliff as well. Okay, and another thing is the triangle formed by Holofernes' head, her elbow, and her shoulder. This kind of triangular geometry was often seen in Renaissance art as well, and that also applies to her blank expression. Even after the terrible things she's done, she appears completely emotionless and maybe even a little happy. This is a recurring theme throughout depictions of this story. And now to Ollie for our weather forecast.
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one!
Where is it?
Inside out, 2 miles away!
This particular painting, called Judith Beheading Holofernes, was painted during the Counter-Reformation, or the Catholic Revival, which was a time period when much artwork displayed Catholic sentiment and evoked religious feeling. This painting in particular is also by Caravaggio, who was a prominent figure in the Baroque art time. Now, this piece of art shows Judith in the process of beheading Holofernes, with her servant with a sack ready for his head. And many great aspects of Baroque art are present in this painting, such as intense drama, which is shown by Holofernes' twisted expression, and Judas, which is of subtle disgust. Also present in this painting are the use of rich and deep colors and intense light and dark shadows. But most importantly, remember kids, safety first.
More support for the religious nature of this piece is represented by the quasi-allegorical illustration of Judith and Holofernes. Here, Judith would represent the typical Christian goodness prevailing, however gorily, over evil. Caravaggio has managed to capture the most dreaded point in man's life, his passage into death. Excessive emotion, in addition to drama, is seen in Holofernes' position. His eyes are turned upward, his hand continues to tightly grip the bed in tormented agony. Because of this violent and horrific character of this painting, there has been speculation that this piece was in fact modeled after two highly publicized Roman executions, those of Bruni and Cenci in 1599, which was when this painting was completed. This painting, titled Judith, was painted by a neoclassical artist, Auguste Rodin. During the neoclassical period, artists studied old master paintings and copied them. Notice how this painting is revisiting the Judith and Holofernes story. Artists studied classical literature and languages, religion and history, so naturally, this painting depicts scenes from the Bible. Artists were encouraged to paint with precision and copy the formal elements of the Renaissance painters. Furthermore, artists were encouraged to idealize their subject matter. As seen here, dramatic composition and narrative painting were used as well as classical composition. An example, Judith's left arm, Holofernes' head in the background, and Judith's head form a geometric figure.
This next piece, by Franz Stuck, depicts Holofernes moments before the beheading. Now this painting was most likely painted during the post-impressionist era, judging by its thick application of paint, distinctive brushstrokes, as well as real-life subject matter. Finally, this differs from other interpretations of this painting because of the depiction of female nudes.
As mentioned before, this piece was painted in the early 20th century. Now this time was commonly said to be a turbulent era, with much political upheaval, uncertainty, and pessimism. It is completely reflected in this painting by the use of dark, gloomy shadows, accompanied by the melancholy expression portrayed by Judith. It truly parallels the time. Also mentioned before, this painter, Franz Stuck, portrayed all his female nude figures in the nude. In this case, Judith was portrayed this way to show her as she really was, seemingly defenseless. Holofernes is also seen in the nude. This could symbolize his true defenselessness compared to Judith's seemingly defenselessness.
Hi, Billy Mays here with another innovative tool. This time for the kitchen.